how can we teach people to, hear using the internet to measure for things like that, and to empower people to just give some basic tools that they would be able to help themselves. This is it. I mean, not too yet, or here.
We're getting the food. The food we distribute, we're bought it from the local. So we're generating money. The government's going back and having that's what's happening on the ground right now. So whatever we're spending now, it's going in circulation within this somehow. So we're buying from the market, also not buying actually there and distributing. But obviously the food is coming from our business. Some of the business people are bringing from our business. And we are buying from our business and we can distribute it.
Just a quick question. First of all, thank you for coming. You guys mentioned that you guys have a long-term goal in terms of health, water, sanitation, agriculture. Can you give us an example? Since you guys have been working for the past 30 years, something that worked for you in terms of agriculture, health, water, sanitation, projects you guys implemented that's in place that we could do the same thing for Somalia.
Well, I mean, you can talk about certain successes, but they're never going to translate directly to the Somali situation, and it always depends on the context and the response there. So Liberian refugees that were fleeing the conflict in Liberia because of the civil war, were fleeing to Guinea and Sierra Leone. So we'll work with on our side of it to see, from taking 30 years of experience, where do you take that? Well, in Somalia, it has to be an absolutely unique response. And so how are they developing that? Well, they're taking a look at, like, how do you identify smaller successful operations that already exist within Somalia, because obviously there's a lot of people doing tremendous amount of work. How do you replicate that to have greater impact throughout Somalia, not just isolated in certain areas?
I'm going to conclude with one final question. And then we're going to move on to the closing remarks on both sides.
Again, thank you for coming. Dr. Ryan, nice to have you here. My question is kind of a technical question, financial question. So sometimes you see that the bigger NGOs like WFP or UNHCR, they spend a lot of money in their system, their logistics, employees. So I just want to ask you, what's your percentage level of what's the money that you put in the needy people inside Somalia? Percentage of money that you put there? 9%? Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. That's good thing for me.
Okay. I think that's it for the questions.
I want to ask you, Martin and George, collecting for the prison being fired and caught. Do you guys have people in that camp who you have a good connection with, who you actually talk to, and collect the money, that you guys really put the money to send to them? And trust it, we don't want to know how you guys sustain it, and we don't even want to see pictures because we trust you as we already say, but when you promise that the money will actually go into that against in Somalia, because already the Bishop Minnesota has the largest Somali population in America. Whatever they had has actually went to the city. And as Ohio, as people in Ohio, we were trying to focus on those who were left behind, with nothing behind us, and we really leave with Biden for everything. So with the little we have, or how much ever it is, with that going into their account, will you guys promise and make sure that money goes towards them? That's my question.
I think you have a Nations for Neighbor branch in Columbus, Ohio.
I would say I put the challenge out to those. I mean, it's one thing to just trust where your money's going, but it's another thing to trust it and follow it. You know, like if we can stand here and say, I mean, I can speak from my heart all night about how much I believe in the organization and what I'm a part of, but ultimately, if we can build a relationship so that you can know us and you can develop the trust from that, but ultimately, it is I challenge you to follow through and know that your money is going where we say it's going, and that's where things talk about transparency. And you do want to see the photos, you do want to see the video footage, because then you get to see the impact. It's not just about sending your money into a straight void. It's about knowing that real families, real people on the other end are receiving it. I don't know.
With regard to the Bay of Bangkok, I don't know, you came late, right?
Yeah,
Okay. I talk about we have a team today for training and on Wednesday what they're going to be doing is they will be calling all the areas that you mentioned. They have relatives. So they will ask questions, they will be asking questions, trying to find out the effect on the ground. That is one. And number two is those areas that they have it's not under the transition of Caribbean. It's a bigger place that we have to be very careful because we do not have policy. Meaning that we don't want to bring damage or threat to people who are already suffering. Okay? So we want to make sure we go there carefully. But here what we have in Malawi, people are suffering, whether they're in the job or the day of all they in Mogadishu. We have 71,000 in Mogadishu, and they're coming from there. So can we say to people that we can reach right now, and then plan the people that we can reach tomorrow to see there? If you know an organization that's legitimate working in the area that you mentioned, we are willing to listen, we are willing to talk. But I would like to hear from you. If you know any legitimate organization
You need
Just
to have a
trying pull as many
branch here.
people
You need to
together
have a
as
nation,
possible.
Neighbors for Nation branch in